middle MAGA.
That's represented in the House battle that's going on. We're going to see that pop off again. And when are they coming back from vacation again? I don't know. Do you guys want to work at all, or are we just like I know you guys are doing all the heavy lifting of picking up your phone and begging for money, but we do have kind of a country to deal with, much less save. Libertarians are having too much fun with this House stuff. So the beef that we're seeing in the country, the irreconcilable differences we're seeing in the country, just like a divorce. We can't come back from that. We're seeing that in the House. Spike Cohen and the Libertarians they're basically acting a fool right now. They're like, we like this. There's no Speaker of the House right now. Libertarians are like, we could get used to this. Spike Cohen says, laugh my ass off. So what's the Halloween costume for the Speaker of the House? Is it a drunk Nancy Pelosi? Is it Kevin McCarthy swimming in a pool of money? Is it Matt Gaetz smoking a cigar, laughing his ass off? Or is it Jim Jordan trying to do another grandstand at a conference hearing that amounts to nothing? No, it's actually just an empty bag. Speaker of the House. So Libertarians have jokes, and I said Libertarians are having too much fun with this. They're just getting used to this. Eric July, who is one of my favorite Libertarians to follow, put out a tweet and said he is thinking about bringing back For Cannon's Sake. And I think it's kind of time, I guess the rhythm's right for him. I say, first of all, I want him to have his business. I don't want him to feel pressured to bring it back when he's got other things to handle. Obviously, he's the one that does the Ripperverse comic book, so he's got a full business now. But he put it out there, so I was like, since you put it out there, I do miss the show. But I bring it up because I can see the segment, and sometimes I'm wrong when I have a vision for what segment he would do. But I could see the segment of Eric July just going off like, just leave it the way it is. No speaker ever. Just don't do it. Don't come to work. Don't even come back. I could see Eric July just say, just stay home. Stay on vacation. And that's basically the Libertarian Party just saying, yeah, let's keep it that way. And that is honestly part of the reason why they're really scared. Imagine if you had a job and you never did your job. You had a job, you never showed up to work. You showed up whenever you wanted to. You went on a month vacation, came back to work for like 2-3 days, had to pick up your cell phone a couple times. Your arm got tired because of that. And then now you're back on the beach on your Cabo, wherever you're at. And there's a couple rebel rousers in the House who they actually seem like they want to do work. And you're like, wait a second. And now they ousted the speaker, and then now there's no speaker, and then now there's a spotlight in the whole world on the House of Representatives, and the whole world is asking, what do you guys do again? You might be a little concerned. I heard some people saying that they got threats from people who said, citizens or constituents or random people or the FBI, I don't know. And they called them and said, if you don't vote for Jim Jordan, yada, yada, yada is going to happen. I actually think the opposite's probably happening. I'm not going to say whether that happened or not. I'm just saying, well, number one, I don't really believe you. But number two, I wouldn't be surprised if the rebel rousers are the ones getting the phone calls, 3 a.m, hello, click, the type of scream-like horror movie call, because they are the ones exposing that we don't need them. What happens when we don't have a government? We don't need them, at least a federal centralized government. We don't need them. We can prosper. The longer this goes on, the better. The longer this goes on, the more likelihood is that they're not going to get money to Ukraine. They can still do it. They can do it through a temporary speaker. They can. But let's just say they don't do it through a temporary speaker. They don't do anything. They wash up all the money, use up all the money. They wash it in the laundry that they already have appropriated for funds, and then they need to go back to the House for more. They need to go back to the House for another 100 billion, 64 for Ukraine, 40 for the border or whatever it is to the border. And it's not to secure the border, it's to make them come in easier, quicker to the border. They need that money to go to the House, and there's no one there to go to. That's actually a good thing. Libertarians are throwing parties over this. We would rather not have zero money go towards this stuff than any money go towards this stuff. You have Byron Donalds running in the House, and he's on TV saying, well, if we send money to Ukraine, we need to have it monitored. Nah, bro, we beyond that. That was yesterday's deal. If they wanted that deal, that was the Rand Paul deal. If they wanted the Rand Paul deal, they should have taken the Rand Paul deal. They didn't take the Rand Paul deal, so they came back to us. They came back to the populist part of the House and said, we need some money. Remember that Rand Paul deal? That's what Byron Donalds is doing. Remember, he's MAGA friendly, but he's still corporate. He's kind of giving that MAGA like, okay, I'm still going to do money to Ukraine. Don't get it twisted, but we're going to do the special inspector in general, or the inspector to make sure the funds are going to the right places.
Your position on more money for Ukraine?
My position is that we have to change a number of things. Number one, we need an inspector general over there actually accounting for those dollars.
How about that deal that Rand Paul had? No, not so fast, Byron Donalds.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
And the deal is what John Kirby said. You're at the end of your rope.
You don't want to be trying to bake in long-term support when you're at the end of the rope. And in Ukraine, when you're at the end of the rope. And in Ukraine, when you're at the end of the rope. And in Ukraine.
Middle MAGA.